Hey, Dwight Clow here, and we are shooting outside again. I'm going to try this without my hat. Hopefully the deer flies leave me alone. Anyway, I am all about helping people experience God and make a difference. And today I am going to show you how telling your story can transform lives. And we are working our way through the gift of your influence, and we're specifically talking about the 7 transforming identities that God has given you that equip you to be the change agent that your world needs. And we are on identity, I have to look at my notes, identity number 4, and we're talking about being a witness. And what specifically does a witness do? A witness tells his or her story. So you have a story, and you telling that story makes a difference in people's lives. And I remember I came to the Lord back in about 1968 in Carolina Beach, North Carolina. So that's 50 years ago, and that's back when Carolina Beach wasn't quite the resort town it is today. It was back then just all dirt roads and alligators, and we went to a little church that was around at that time, Carolina Beach Community Church, and that's where I came to the Lord. And that church had a practice which I would love to see revived in other churches. So pastors, if you're listening and this works for you and it fits in with what you're doing, I think this is a great thing. They had a testimony service. And what is a testimony service? Testimony service is where people in the congregation just got up and just for a short 2 or 3 minutes tell what God has been doing in their lives. And I just loved that. As a new Christian, that was so encouraging to me. And we also had missionaries come in, and we had missionaries tell their stories. And I still remember many of those stories. And one in particular, I've shared with you before, but I'll just share it again. There was this missionary, and back in the day, I mean, nowadays people go to the mission field, they tend to come back, you know, every year, every couple of years, and the world is a lot more mobile. There's Skype, there's email, you can be in instant contact with anybody just about any place in the world. But back in the day, you went to the mission field and you stayed for years and years, and some missionaries went and stayed until retirement, and the only contact that they had with their home world was a very unreliable mail service, and you get a letter every few months, and so going to the mission field was a major decision. Anyway, this young woman at the time had decided to go to the mission field, and she had grown up on a farm, and there were fruit trees. It was like an orchard type of arrangement. And as she was making the long trip to her mission station, I think it was in South Africa, she was finding herself getting more and more homesick and just missing home. And so she prayed along this trip. She said, "Lord, could you just give me one fruit tree in my yard to remind me of home?" And so anyway, late at night she got to to the mission station where she would be living for the next many years, and went to bed. And the next morning she got up, opened the curtains, and looked out the window, and there in a yard were 100 fruit trees. And that story, even though I heard it when I was 10 years old, it sticks with me now 50 years later, because it said something to me. It said something to me about who God is and how He cares for His children and how He cares for our feelings. And so anyway, I just want to encourage you to tell your story. Your story has value. please never think that your story, because it doesn't seem real dramatic, doesn't have value or isn't important, because Jesus said, "You are my witnesses." And that means you. You are Jesus's witness. You tell the story of what Jesus has done in your life, and I guarantee you it will be life transforming for someone else. Anyway, the gift of your influence, enough for today. We'll be back next time. Meanwhile, I do invite you, as always, to stop by my store, Kim51. That's Kim51.com. And there's some great stuff there, and planning to add more soon. And there's also a free gift for you. So grab that and enjoy. See you next time.